It's Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, Mr. Money Talk. So, Pat, I know on Unchained yesterday, you guys talked a lot of Twins. We can talk about, you're down there in Florida, in Fort Myers, so we can definitely talk some baseball. But I don't know if you noticed, the Kirk Cousins pre-free agency media tour has been, you want to talk about like Taylor Swift's worldwide tour, right?
Wow.
Kirk Cousins was on Sky Sports over the weekend with his little cardigan and
Sky
big
Sports.
smile.
That's British, isn't it? Isn't that Britain? The
Yeah.
Sky Sports.
He's just, his main message is, people don't really realize this. Friends and family want to know what's going to happen. And the conversations don't really start until March. And so I'm just really excited to see how it all plays out. And
just read. He's ahead of. I bet he's ahead of schedule with his recovery too.
very much ahead of schedule.
How
Yeah.
often is he? How often have guys in that situation say, "Well, I'm pretty far behind schedule here with my recovery, so I don't know if somebody wants to sign me or not."
Yeah. I had a setback last week, actually. It's pretty crazy.
Yes. It is amazing what that Netflix thing did for him, though, isn't it? I mean, image-wise, I didn't watch it. I don't watch that crap, but everything I hear is he just came off as this really nice family man, and then Pat Mahomes was throwing out F-bombs every six-letter words. So they, the contrast is, you had your choice whether you wanted the goody two shoes or you want Patrick, but apparently it seemed to do a lot for his image as a human being.
It definitely did. Now the thing though is, give me the quarterback, Patrick, who drops F-bombs all day long.
Yes,
I don't need you to be cautious about your F-bombs or
no.
how you. I want you to be competitive, fiery, but yes, he definitely went from. I think he was considered pretty closed off before that, and that sort of was like, oh no, he's a great guy. Which, by the way, he might be, but that doesn't make him a great quarterback.
No, and does he got the same agent that's done well for him by this? I mean, that's
Mike
the
McCartney.
agent. The agent hooking him up with that was, a genius, and he probably was well coached. And stay away from your political views, and you'll do fine here. I don't know how much that got out, but. I don't know. He's an injured what? When's he 36? Is he turning 36?
August.
This summer,
August.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Isn't there a lesson to be learned here with these other old quarterbacks that they gave too much money to, including Aaron Rodgers and some of these guys? There's this whole narrative now because of Brady that these guys can last forever. And, they're still 35-year-old guys who I don't want to take a chance on. So
people kind of prop Aaron Rodgers up as an example next to Brady, right? Well, look at Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
The Packers were a non-playoff team at the end of his run there, and then he steps on the field for 30 seconds and rips his leg in half, in his first Jets game.
And the fact of the matter is, I mean, he was MVP 2 years ago or something, but when push came to shove, he didn't get it done that year on his home field, and he wasn't as good. And the year before that, he was terrible. So, he wasn't Brady. He hasn't been Brady. He's still playing, but he's not. What's he going to be? 40? Is he going to be 40?
Yep.
39.
Rodgers,
30,
yeah.
40. So, and the Jets are going to bring him back for 1 year, and that's not going to work. Let the ship sail here. Start all over again. Find your quarterback. What the hell's the matter with you? Unless you're going to really stink, and is there going to be another draft class like this for quarterbacks with 5 of them there that you can possibly draft and might be the guy? It's not. Kellen Mond and whatever the guy from BYU, the old man from BYU's name, and I can't even remember.
Jaron Hall.
Jaron
The
Hall.
old man.
He's older than you are.
Yeah.
Walker. Use the Walker.
That's not it. You got to what? Okay, Brock Purdy came along. He's got a great team, and he's the lowest draft choice of all. But everybody else is a number one, is a first rounder. You got to get somebody that you believe in and go from here. Let's go. Come on.
Why is it deemed so risky? I mean, and it's, again, I'm not fully blaming Cousins for this, but 6 years, you've pumped in $250 million basically
Yes,
into this
yes.
guy, and you have one playoff win as a franchise. Why is there such a, it's risky? You better be careful what you wish for if you move off of Kirk Cousins. That's what I don't really understand.
I don't either. I don't. I mean, what are you? He's if you have to pay him, you aren't going to be able to improve your team enough to make any kind of a run in the playoffs. So what's the purpose? What's the secret of success we're discovering, unless you got Patrick Mahomes, the greatest football player who ever lived, uh, that is having the low priced quarterback, right? Having the guy that you don't have to pay for 5 years. So even the fifth year isn't that bad. The fifth year is what, 20, 22, something
Yeah.
like that. Now you got to pay these guys 50.
Yeah.
50. What do you people think? Well, if Cousins gives us a bargain. So what's a bargain? 35? I don't even think he's going to take 35. Do you? I think he wants more.
No,
So,
no. I believe, if I'm correct on this, Daniel Jones got 40. I
Yeah.
do not see
yeah.
his camp taking less than
Less
Daniel
than
Jones
40.
got.
No. Why did they pay Daniel Jones 40? Why did they do
Because of
that?
Ed Donatel, yeah, because of the
I
Vikings, Pat.
know, I know, but you don't have to. What were you just say? Okay, we'll give you 30 for 3 years, and that's it. Because
Ed deserves a cut of this. That's what this comes
nobody's
down to.
yes, nobody's going to come in and outbid them. Nobody else is going to. They're out. It's the old George Steinbrenner outbidding himself thing here. Don't you think it is?
It kind of.
I think the
It
Dodgers.
is.
It's the Dodgers signing Shohei. They outbid themselves by 100 million. They could have gotten him for 6. They decided to make sure that nobody else offered him 6, so they outbid themselves by $100 million. Why do you do that?
So, but what do you think happens? Do you think it seems like the Wilfs want to know, okay, if you're going to move off of him, then it almost feels like ownership is the most hesitant to make a big change, I
Well,
guess. So,
who has indicated that? Who's hinted at that?
well, Kwesi has I think, just like reading the tea leaves, just like frontally at press conferences, they've never been overly committal to Kirk, and they're always
No.
talking about how it takes two to tango. But then at the end of the day, they, at least last time around, they wind up, okay, I guess we'll. So it's sort of just an educated guess that if it's up to the front office, I think they probably go in a different direction, but owners might have a little bit of a different
Yeah,
thought.
I don't know. If you're an owner, if you're an NFL owner, what difference does it make? You're going to make, if you lose 2,000 season tickets a year, what difference does it make? You're still making your 250 million. Try to, try to accomplish something. Go find a quarterback and that you can accomplish something with, instead of, we're going to go 10-7 and then we're going to get beat in the first round. So, I mean, you got beat at home at 13-4, and by a quarterback who should be making $12 million, not 40. So it's ridiculous to rip up your team in order to keep this guy to do nothing, to go nowhere. They had a 13-4 year. Okay, great, and nothing happened. So you need a better quarterback. You need an athlete. Let's go here. Come on, stop it.
Did you catch any of the Goodell Super Bowl presser Monday?
I've watched a little bit of it, 10 minutes or so. There were some guys show up and try to ask him
Did you
tough
see the
questions.
gambling stuff? Him trying to somebody read him like a direct quote from 2003 in which he's like, gambling can't be associated with this league because
Yes.
everything would be
Oh,
questioned.
I missed that.
And the person read the entire quote from 2003 and said, "What's your response now?" And because they won't just come out and say, because you know how much we're making off these people,
Yes.
he's trying to dance around how well now, and this is exactly what I'm talking about in the double talk. God,
Yeah.
it was fun to watch.
Oh, it was. That's. It is. It's the one time you get him in a. They started doing that with Roselle, 60 years ago when the Super Bowl first came, and the gotcha. The there's still enough gotcha guys out there that come with their prepared questions and have to get asked that one. But all of sports are the biggest hypocrites that ever lived. I mean, it's unbelievable. We're going to suspend. They're still suspending these college football players who go fill out a parlay card somewhere at some legal casino, or the NFL is, if you do it on the grounds of the, if you're betting on the grounds of the NFL team, then then you can be suspended. But if you want to go off to the casino and bet, that's fine. It's as long as you're not betting on the NFL. I don't know. They got themselves in a wonderfully hypocritical situation because I mean, like every game you watch, DraftKings, ESPN now tells you what you can call in and bet right now,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
For the second half and stuff like this. And they got, what's this new one they got?
Well,
Call up
it's
and
ESPN Bet is their new
no,
gambling
yeah,
league.
ESPN, but I mean, there's this like these little bets that you can make, these $10 bets. The ad thing is, have you seen that thing? It's kind of new, and it's just like call in and bet whether this guy's gonna make 45 yards or but
Yeah,
Oh,
over
yeah.
under. It's
What's
like
the name?
In-game props and in-game.
in-game props. Yeah.
But there's something. It's all over the place. These little 15-second ads to call in and bet on anything you want to bet on. Basically, it's and I mean baseball is still looking for the big thing for them is going to be having people with their phone in the stands betting on whether it's going to be a ball or a strike.
Yeah.
I mean, but hey, we don't want it to be a problem. We don't want this to become a problem for you. You might go to a baseball game and bet on every pitch, but we don't want it to be a problem for
Well,
you.
you can bet on the Super Bowl coin flip at
Oh,
a
yeah.
at a 105, a minus 105. So you're betting on a 50-50 coin flip with 5% juice.
Yeah, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of doing that? You haven't, if you're betting on the coin flip and giving them $5 if you lose, it's, I mean, 105, an extra five.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, what's the purpose? Bet on something else. Bet on whether who's gonna, how many touchbacks are going to be on the kickoffs or something. I mean,
But the problem, Pat, is this: it's not the players. The problem is what you talk about continually. It's the officials. That's what
Yes.
they're basically. One of Goodell's 2003 quotes was, "All officiating decisions will be questioned if we embrace gambling."
Yes.
Right? and it's your point about they
Yeah.
impact every single game and can
Yes.
impact a play, every single time. So that's the fear of who's really taking care of the fact that the officials don't say, "Hey, this is a good job, but man, I could use a lot more money."
There's got to be some other Tim Donaghy's out there. That's for sure. Tim would have been in his glory here, wouldn't he, man? This
would be great for him. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's just, I don't even know if I'm smart enough to bet on these props anyway. They come so fast. How the hell can you bet? You just got to be on your phone and bet constantly, and it's something. It's
How are we, by the way, going to get, if we make it through a full week of a Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and I get that the teams are staying like 30 miles away from the strip very strategically.
They're in Seattle.
Yeah, they're going to fly in the morning of the game from Lake Union. I just stumbled across along those lines. Last week was the 25th anniversary of Eugene Robinson, the night before the Super Bowl, getting arrested for soliciting sex from a prostitute. The quote is amazing. Mm-hmm. So this is from the Washington Post. And they played the game. They got beat by 2 touchdowns, and reporters after the game were like, "Okay, Eugene, what happened?" So here's the quote. Eugene said, "I really believe and strongly believe that I will be found innocent of this." Next sentence. "What I really want to do now is apologize first to my Lord Jesus Christ and secondly to my wife and kids and my teammates."
Yeah.
I'm innocent, but
Innocent,
just in
but I'm
case,
gonna
I want to
apologize.
apologize to God.
Well,
To
that was the great thing about it being Eugene. He was like the big religious guy on the team that led chapel and did all that stuff. And
he was organizing chapel just downtown Miami with some
yes,
women of the night.
yes. Yeah, it's no, they should that's stupid. They should have the players staying in hotels right on the strip, don't you think?
They
That just
should totally agree. And Pat, and not at like the Bellagio. I mean,
no.
we should be in like old like Fremont Street. They should be staying
Yeah.
at the Golden Nugget.
Golden Nugget.
Gold Nugget, yeah, they could good. They could go next door to the Union Plaza. Is the Union Plaza still there? I played.
The Plaza Hotel is still there, isn't it?
That's where I stayed with the no, the Union Plaza was where we stayed with Yates and Kenny on a trip. I went out there for the Super Bowl with the station went out for the Super Bowl and stayed at the Union Plaza, and it's a little bit blue collar to say the least. And the guy behind me in line was smoking a cigarette through the thing on his neck.
Oh my God.
He had he had the
Wow.
throat cancer thing, and he was talking like this, and then he was having his ear. And I said, "This is my kind of place to watch the Super Bowl, ladies
You know what?
and
If you're
gentlemen."
that guy too, you've defeated lung cancer at that point,
Yes,
right? If you're
yeah. They won, and what do you care? You might as well. But I went to Leroy's Sportsbook for the watch the first half of the Super Bowl. And Leroy's Sportsbook, I think one of my lines was the number of teeth and people in this place is equal. It was the damnedest collection of guys. And they all wanted to give me a tip, guys who were like, had been slept outside all night. We're going to give you a tip on the Super Bowl if you gave $10. It was great. Leroy's. Yeah, I watched the first half of Leroy's. It was fantastic. That's the side of Vegas we don't see much.
that's
But
the best side of
Yeah,
Vegas.
that's my favorite
I feel
side.
like. It's so great.
The guys that are just came out there, they were going to be gamblers for life, and now now they're sleeping in a garbage can and just thinking they're still going to hit it big. It's fantastic.
They're old school too, though. Like they used to go. They've probably
Yeah.
been there since the '70s. They used to go see Sammy Davis
Yeah.
Jr. and
Yes,
Sinatra.
right. Yeah.
That's Vegas,
Yes,
not this
that's true.
newfangled, blown up suburban
No, I went
tourist
to
trap.
Katie and I have been out there for 10, 12 years, but Katie and I went out there and we went to saw Bette Midler, and then it was $200 then. Now I bet it's 2,000 now. The prices have got to be just ungodly to have a good time out there. But it's as I say, if I don't know, they got a bad break when Buffalo lost, though, don't you? Well, Kansas City, they'll bring a pretty low rent crowd, don't you think? So.
Well, you get all the Swifties now, so you
Yeah,
get
oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Swifties, go Swifties. Well, that's just a unbelievable. She's back on the road though, right? She's in
yeah.
Japan.
She won
She's
13
flying in.
Grammys on Sunday night, and then
13.
I think it was 13. Well, they didn't do all of them during the telecast, but she did
God
win
almighty.
a couple during the telecast. And then international concerts this week, and then she'll be flying on some lavish
from
private
Japan.
jet from Japan. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's great. I love the fact that Joe Souchere's granddaughters run downstairs when they hear Swifties on, and he has to back up the TV to show them where they showed her going like this for 5 seconds, and they all
Yeah.
go crazy. I had no idea until she came to Minneapolis that she was that popular. I knew that people liked her. I didn't know there was a whole legion of
Cult.
people
I
whose
mean,
whole life
it is
it's a cult,
in
man.
different ways. Like it is Elvis from the 50s.
Yes,
It is Michael Jackson in the 80s. It's crazy.
My favorite Elvis story is he came to Sioux City, Iowa, and my cousin Kathleen, who was like 17, went down there and screamed with everybody else for an hour and a half. And she had an Elvis picture, and I think he was autographing it. And my father got a hold of it and painted a mustache on it. And she never forgave him for marking up her Elvis photo for me was, but this is like 1957 or something like this, that when he was just starting out, and he was doing places that drew 1,500 people, Sioux City, Iowa. So.
Yeah.
Pat, have you watched Masters of the Air on Apple TV with Austin Butler, the guy who played Elvis in the Tom Hanks version that came out a few years ago?
No, I have not.
Masters of Air. So it's very much like Band of Brothers. It's about like I think it's the 19th.
Oh yeah, I saw the first episode.
The Air Force in World War II, and Austin but still has so he's still got his Elvis voice.
That's
throughout the whole story.
He hosted SNL like a year ago.
Yeah.
And part of his monologue was about how people say I still talk like Elvis. Like apparently he just talks like Elvis now after doing that role.
I wanted the bride and I got married out there in '90, at the Little White Chapel. We didn't go to the drive-through; we went inside, and at the Little White Chapel, and we could have gotten an Elvis impersonator to do it for like an extra 50, and she wouldn't go along with it.
But you wanted her to do it.
The Elvis.
That's a shame. God, that'd be great.
I got married by an Elvis impersonator. It would have been fantastic.
Wait. So she was okay with going out, doing a shotgun wedding in Las Vegas, but she drew the line at Elvis impersonator.
Elvis impersonation. Yes, she wanted it to be.
So are we talking young?
She wanted,
old Elvis, Pat? Fat guy comes in.
I don't care. I did any Elvis I would have taken. Like
peanut butter and banana sandwiches?
And 100 like that. It was, I know, she just, Michael Jordan got married there, and so did Bruce Willis. So, this was a high class.
Three titans of the entertainment industry.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was. The great thing is, though, when you fill out your wedding and your application, you get married there, you go down to the courthouse, and downstairs you just sign in, but they have pencils in case you want to erase some. It's not even ink. You get to, you do it in pencil back then, and they had the pencil, you sign it, here you go, and then 5 minutes later you're married. It's fantastic.
It's amazing. So
Saved you a lot of money.
Well, we can maybe we could do Reusse Unchained live from Little White Chapel just to celebrate, commemorate whatever your next landmark anniversary is.
Oh, the great part is the bride gets Katie get a call about 5 in the afternoon at the hotel because we'd registered to get married there, and she said, "Can you wait till midnight? This is hard copy. We want to get you. We want to have a June bride because it was May 31st." And she said, "Are you bleeping crazy?" She hung up the phone. I could have been on hard copy. It would have been fantastic.
I was going to say, with an impersonator there, that would have been perfect wedding.
Yes, yeah. What the heck? What more would you want in life? So, all right.
Well, we'll catch you again later this week, Pat.
Blustery down here this morning in the fort. So I don't know. The weather's been pretty lousy so far. So.
Not here.
Okay. Go hit those guys the minor leaguers some fly balls.
All right. I'm supposed to see Austin Martin tomorrow. I'll say hello to him for you. So,
yes, please do. Okay.
All right. See you. Goodbye.
All right. There is Reusse Unchained, presented in part today by our friends at Zero Res, who are helping to deep clean houses all over Minnesota with their 4.9 out of 5-star rating on Google. That's 17,000 reviews, too, of validation. The Score North Special is what you want to ask for. That's 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at just $119, and you get a free hallway as well. 952-0-RES or zeroresminnesota.com. Say you want the Score North Special. Spell it forward or backwards. It spells the same. 0 Res.